Hi friends, welcome back. This is Tall Lifestyle and my name is Adam. If you're new here, I'm a big and tall reviewer of clothes, accessories, and grooming. For today, what I'm going to do is actually walk through how to take your own measurements. If you've never been to a tailor or you've never been somewhere to be measured for something that is clothing and everything has just been kind of like guessing for sizes, this is a way in which you can do so at home with something like this. A tailor's tape is what I believe it's called. I will push the camera back, show you how to take these measurements, and then I also have 4 pairs of pants from a variety of companies. I actually ripped some, so I went shopping to replace them, right? And now I have a few different brands that I can show you. How do they fit? How does that compare to the actual measurements of the tailor's tape? That sort of thing. I'll see you very shortly. Okay folks, so as promised, I'm going to go through how to take your own measurements. The measurements that I'm going to walk through today are going to be neck, arm length, which is sometimes confusing when you're shopping for something like a dress shirt, the chest or bust measurement and how you should find the widest measurement there, your waist, which is, there's 2, one for your natural waist, which is kind of right around the navel, as well as where I measure for my pants and typically where I wear my pants. Also a hip measurement, inseam, outseam, and then for any additional information, thigh and calf. This might be important for any very fitted suits or for anything that's a very tailored sort of pant. We'll actually start right here. Taking your tailor's tape, the neck measurement, typically when it comes to your collar, is going to be here low on the neck. So there should be enough room to fit 2 fingers whenever you're measuring. Make sure that it's low, well, not quite on like the shoulder's neck, but right about here. I wish I could see this in the monitor, but I can't. So I'll mark this with my fingers, and this is, I'm gonna say a solid 19 for my neck measurement. Now for arm length, that is something that a lot of people were confused about, or at least I was whenever I was first shopping for dress shirts and that sort of thing. When it comes to your arm length measurement, there's actually this vertebrae right here. I think it's C7. It'll stick out just a little bit more, but it's kind of in between your shoulders and at the base of your neck. You're actually going to start your arm measurement from this. So taking the end of your tailor's tape, lay it across, especially if you're wearing a shirt, it's helpful to go to the shoulder seam. Hold it here, and then transfer your hands down. The end of the measurement should be at the wrist bone in a relaxed state. So not out like this, not standing forward like a zombie. Just let it relax with your natural posture. I'm kind of lowered myself down for the camera, and that's okay. If I stretch out this way, it looks like 37. Maybe I'm gonna have to be like a violin player here. So big difference from stretching my arm out like this versus just relaxed and down to the side. Granted, there's also room for error because I'm doing this myself, but I have 39 as my measurement for my sleeve length. When it comes to the chest or bust measurement, you're going to want to find the widest point of the chest area, and of course going all the way around. All of your measurements should include a few inches for like breathe in, make sure that you're able to fit 2 fingers in so that there's some level of movement. I don't know if anyone here is going to be putting on a corset. I know I'm not, at least, you know, maybe if you sponsor me, but for all intents and purposes, I'm actually going to be doing these measurements for suiting or finding out when referencing the size charts online what is going to be the best fit. So I'm actually kind of right at the level of the widest point of the chest, which could be a little bit higher for some, typically lower for most, and trying to keep it really even across the body. Oh, you can't hardly see, can you? There we go. Take a big breath in, and holding it right there, my chest measurement is a 52. After having done the chest measurement, I'm actually going to go up to the natural waist, which is right at your navel, your belly button, as well as where I wear my pants, which is below that at the lower waist. I'm actually not sure, the top of the hips. Unfortunately, around my navel area, I am a little bit larger than I think my hips. So I'm gonna find the largest area, which feels to be about here. Okay, for my natural waist, we're gonna say 50. And then moving down a bit, I tend to wear my pants about here. Gotta get the correct end of the tape, right? Well, breathing here isn't gonna matter too much. Okay, so when it comes to my where I wear my pants waist, I don't know if there's a different terminology versus the natural waist, which is right around the navel. My around where I wear my pants measurement is 46 versus my chest backslash bust measurement is 52. It's actually a convention in suiting that the waist or the pants that are provided are always 6 inches less than the chest measurement. I didn't think I was going to fit so squarely into that norm, but here it is. If you're someone who has particularly large hips or maybe a lot rounder in the rump, that might be something that affects your measurement. But for me, my chest is 52, my waist is 46, so it's right into that convention. Of course, as we're going to see a little bit later, there are sometimes sizes that maybe are vanity sizing. Some of those vanity sizes aren't going to exactly match, and that's okay. That's how people want to sell it. That's how people are going to buy it. However, my purpose today is to make sure that you have the information in terms of buying online to reduce the amount of send back. If you're buying for someone else and you do have their measurements, or even if you have one of the comparable brands, you'll know where to size up or size down or remain the same. Moving forward, we're also going to do hips, inseam, outseam, thigh, and calf. So I'm just going to back up a bit and go from there. Okay, so I'm prepared for hips. Keep in mind, hips is going to be very similar to the bust or chest measurement. You're going to want to measure around the fullest part of your hips, which includes the butt, of course. So make sure that if you are looking for something very fitted, you take this measurement to be well prepared. Standing with your hips about shoulder width apart, kind of a neutral stance. Essentially how you stand naturally is where you want to take all of your measurements. I do have the tape around what I feel as though is the widest part of my hips, my butt, etc. And so that measurement is 49.5. I'm just going to list it as 50. Going into measuring for your inseam, this one might be a little bit scandalous, but depending upon how high you want the rise, in terms of from waist to the crotch of the pants is the rise. Maybe we should measure that too. There's typically a front rise and a back rise. It's going to be from however high you'd like the rise to be into your crotch area to at least the ankle bone. I tend to like my pants to kind of pool or break on my shoe so that, especially when I'm at work and I have to crouch down and that sort of thing, I don't want, most days, every once in a while it's a look to have a tapered leg and to show a little sock or show a little ankle. But for most days, for a standard kind of business casual look, my pants tend to be with at least one break or sort of a soft break where it pools on the shoe. So for this, standing shoulder width, relaxed stance, you are going to start with where you'd like for your pants to have their rise. And then I'm going to stretch this down. Because I like my pants just a little bit longer, I'm actually going a little bit below the ankle bone. Despite the fact that I'm as tall as I am, my inseam is 34 inches. There are some of my friends who are shorter than I am, but they have a longer inseam. They're very leggy, or some people might have an extremely long arm. That's just how your body is. That's your genetics. For me, my legs are kind of short compared to my overall size. Going into the measurement of your outseam, it's going to be very similar to the inseam. This one, however, instead of starting inside the leg, where you wear your pants at that waist, not your natural waist, is going to be where you start the tape, shoulder width apart in terms of the feet. You want this to be as relaxed as possible, so not stretching. Although what I am going to do is trace the tape down my leg so that I can get the most accurate measurement. It is just me. If you're off by an inch, just because of how you're tracing it down your leg or letting it fall, that when online shopping should be an acceptable margin of error. For my outseam, I have it down 43 to 44 inches. It was a little bit more difficult reaching along the outside of the leg, but again, a small margin of error. It's not like I'm going to have an extremely off pair of pants just because of the measurement of 1 inch, at least for an outseam. Okay, so going into the rise measurement, the rise is going to be from that same waistband into the crotch essentially, and how much fabric you do want to have. Typically, the back rise is going to be 2 to 4 inches larger. If you're getting a more customized pair of pants, this is going to be something that you would want to have to make sure that nothing is created too small. There are, of course, conventions and patterns when it comes to whatever type of pant you're looking for, or the suit, depending on, what you're ordering online. The rise is just something that's informative because if you are like me and you're a little bit more waist heavy, like kind of around the natural waist, I don't want a super high rise pant because I just feel like it'll get lost, or it's really not the style that accommodates my body type. I'm not going to say that I'm going to wear low rise, just a mid rise, a regular everyday flat front pant. Keep in mind when you're looking online as well, if you're doing a pleated pant, that's going to add a lot more volume to the hips. For my front rise, I measured 12 inches. For my back rise, 19. I might actually pull out one of my favorite pairs of pants here and validate these results because I'm measuring myself in my own apartment in anticipation of more online shopping or just going in where possible to try on pants, that sort of thing. I feel like that 7 inches is a big dysphoria. I thought it would only be 2 to 4 inches. So more news to follow. As with many other measurements for the thigh, you're going to want to find the largest point of the thigh. And then again with a relaxed stance, how you would normally stand outside of me bending over in front of this lamp. You would want to find your thigh measurement with 2 fingers inserted to make sure that it's not completely going to cut off circulation. A lot of fabrics do not bend. So of course, whenever you're sitting, you want to have a little bit more measurement or a little bit more space so that you can spread out. For my thigh measurement, we're gonna say 30 because I do wanna have a little bit of extra room. For my calf measurement, I have put my foot up here on a chair, make it a lot easier for me, especially for you to see at home. Going always around the widest point. You don't wanna measure something too narrow and not provide yourself enough space in your pants in this case. So for my calf, I'm gonna go here. Very tight is going to be 21 inches, so let's say 20 and a half. I don't know the last time that I ordered a pair of pants where I had that measurement to choose from. If you haven't seen my ASOS haul, I'll try to link it here. I don't know if I have that capability with number of subscribers, but that is something, that's an interesting watch. Okay friends, now that we're all done with the measurements, I'm going to do a quick review of what my measurements are, at least my self-measured measurements. Neck 19, arm length 39, chest or bust 52. Waist around my natural waist, which is the navel, is going to be 50 inches. My waist where I wear my pants, 46. My hip measurement, 50 inches. Inseam, 34. Outseam, 43 to 44. Thigh, 30. Calf is 20.5. Front rise, 12, and back rise, 19. The pair of pants that I ripped and that I'm essentially replacing, I'm gonna go ahead and grab those. That way I can validate or invalidate some of these measurements. Just because I want to follow along the seam very closely, I'm actually flipping these pants inside out. It does have the measurement here. Even though my Taylor's tape measurement was 46 around the waist, and Perry Ellis at least, I'm wearing 42-36. Again, I really like my pants to kind of pool, and if I'm crouching or anything like that, I don't want to show too much leg, at least not most days. Every once in a while, that's a look, and I enjoy it. But for the high rise, for the front rise and for the back rise, I want to make sure that I am getting an accurate measurement and of course informing you. So starting with this at the waistband, moving down along the seam, down to the crotch of the pants. Okay, so I actually did a pretty good job. At least on my Perry Ellis, the back rise is 19, which was my measurement. And then for the front rise, starting again at the waist, which I have buttoned, and then moving the waist and measurement down to the crotch. So on this pair of pants, I would say 13.5. Thankfully, it does move the measurements a little bit closer. They're only about 6 inches different in terms of the front rise versus the back rise. So I think a successful experiment in terms of how to measure yourself at home. If you have any comments, questions, oh wait, we're not done, I lied to you. I do that a lot, I apologize sometimes. All right, so for this section, friends, what I'm gonna do is put on my favorite pair of pants, ones that are ripped and so that I am replacing. Outside of that, I have a few others. I'll tell you the size or even show you the label, as well as tell you what brand it is so that you can become familiar with where to shop and what size to shop for. All right, so this is my Perry Ellis pair of 34-36 pants. It's a nice snug fit around the waist. I like how it hits the floor. I'm not going to show you my feet in terms of like putting on shoes and how it pools at the bottom of the shoe, at the bottom of the pants, but this is the pair of pants that I'm replacing because I ripped not just a seam, but the fabric. Unfortunate but true, things happen, right? Things expire. But this has been my favorite pair of pants for a while, and in fact I have another one, but I want to have rotation to, enough pants to rotate through, right? I was going to show you this pair of pants, which is the Perry Ellis as well. I gained a little bit of weight, which I've since lost. This was a 44. Now at this point, even with a belt on, it's just too big. It's a little bit slovenly looking, so I didn't want to continue to wear these. All right, so this is a pair of polo, a little bit more casual pant. The ones from Perry Ellis are like, they don't require ironing, and so that's something that I enjoy because I like to take things out of the dryer. I do hang them up immediately out of the dryer, but I don't want to like iron my pants every day. These being a little bit more casual, they're probably made out of cotton or mostly cotton. The brand this time, Ralph Lauren Polo, and they are a 32-36. They are a little bit snug at the waist, with them being 4 inches smaller than my actual waist measurement though. I don't know if it's vanity sizing, but these are 42-36. Whenever I sit, yeah, a little tight on the thighs. This isn't one pair of pants that I would actually wear to work just yet because I do have to move a lot of crouching, a lot of reaching. Looking forward to the future when I can wear these, but for something like going out to eat, you know, not doing too much that I feel like I would split a seam and have to go home, that sort of thing. And then I have one more from another brand. Okay folks, friends, all the above. This is my Oak Hill pair of pants that I just purchased yesterday from DXL. It is a Harbor Bay brand. In fact, let me take this off. So Harbor Bay and Oak Hill, I believe, are the two brands from DXL that are their house brands. This measurement is 42-34. One of the more, again, a difference between the measurements as they are written versus measured. The representative at DXL did tell me that the length of the pants is always a little bit longer. Given that the Perry Ellis and the polo pants I just tried on a 36 measurement, this I feel like is very, very comparable in terms of the length. It's giving me, it does give me the break that I enjoy over top of the shoe, so it kind of like covers the shoe, covers the sock, even when sitting, crouching, etc. If you are shopping at DXL and you're looking for Oak Hill versus Polo, the Polo you might have to size up one or be more true to size. Again, as a quick reminder, my waist measurement is a 46. These and my Perry Ellis are a 42-36, and my Polo are a 42, but they're very tight. I wouldn't feel confident wearing those with the ability to move. I tried this at the store, but even here, there's There's enough room through the thigh and through the calf as well for ease of movement. If I'm at work and I have to crouch, reach, etc., I think I'll be safe. Okay friends, thanks so much for joining me. This was a quick rundown of not only how to measure yourself at home for any sort of measured or tailored clothing using a tailor's tape, but also a quick run through of a few pairs of pants that I either have or just recently bought. That way if you're shopping online or shopping for someone else who might need to have these pants in these brands, where you can flex up or down, or where you should flex up or down in terms of the sizing. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I'm Tall Lifestyle Adam, and if you will, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any brands that you enjoy or that you are looking for someone else in terms of your shopping for them or you're shopping for yourself and you just don't want to do the back and forth of sending it out, ordering it, trying it on, sending it back, that sort of thing. Okay, folks, thanks so much. Have a good day.